Story 1. Avocados. I stand by my opinion. It's as if someone combined the texture of soap with the flavor of disappointment and transformed it into a $14 toast. Every time I eat one, I feel like I'm pretending to be someone with a yoga membership and emotional stability, but it's all a facade. Story 2. Onions. Everyone makes fun of me when I ask for foods without them. I can't stand the texture in any way. No matter how they are prepared, I know they are there, and it makes me gag. Story 3. Corned beef is something I cannot stand. Honey is another big one for me. When I was a toddler, my mom would put it on my pacifier. I cannot stand the taste or the smell. Story 4. Mustard. The flavor just isn't my thing, though I can see why people like it. The bigger issue is that it completely overpowers everything it accompanies. I genuinely cannot understand why that doesn't bother more people. Story 5. Avocado is often found in every meal. Additionally, coriander has an unpleasant taste similar to washing up liquid. Story 6. Avocados, the unpleasant aspect of Satan and guacamole, are not enjoyable. Tofu. I'm convinced I was fed a chopped-up kitchen sponge. I would chew it and it would decompress and then slowly reinflate. Every once in a while, a tiny squeak could be heard. It was the weirdest meal I have ever eaten, and my friends could not stop laughing. It was a vegetarian version of spaghetti and meatballs, but with tofu sponge balls. I was also at a Buddhist festival and kept smelling something that resembled a dead dog in a metal dumpster that had been fermenting in the Texas sun for 3 days. My sister and I were constantly dry heaving. A sweet woman tried to feed me some of her fried tofu that she was making. The smell that had been tormenting me was the tofu she was offering. I don't even remember how I escaped without offending her. I think I just told her I really had to go. Story 7. Not a food but bottled water. When I drink it, I taste plastic in the back of my throat for hours. It tastes unhealthy, like drinking industrial chemicals. Story 8. It's a restaurant, not food. In fact, it is so low quality it shouldn't qualify as food. It is Raising Cane's chicken. Notice how I think so little of it that I refuse to capitalize the name of this abomination. Story 9. Coconuts, mangoes, fish, and pat. Basically, everything marine except for caviar from 2 specific types of fish. Sushi and anything with rice and avocados. Story 10. Sushi, avocados, all condiments including salad dressings. Anything with vinegar, snails, clams, onions, peppers, pickles, tomatoes, and celery. My goodness, there are so many. Story 11. I don't really hate it, but I avoid eating it on principle. Ketchup. If your food tastes better with ketchup, that means it's low quality. Good fries don't need ketchup. Bad fries do. The same applies to all foods. Ketchup just replaces the original flavor, which makes food average. Story 12. Popcorn. I don't know if I've ever met someone who agrees with me. I can't stand the look of it, the taste of it, the texture, or the smell. Nothing about it appeals to me, though for some reason it doesn't bother me in movie theaters. Story 13. Avocado or raw tomato can be enjoyable if transformed into something else, like guacamole, salsa, ketchup, or marinara. The only time I don't mind raw tomato is as a thin slice on a burger. Story 14. Lobster is overpriced and bland, or perhaps I haven't had it at a fine enough establishment to truly appreciate it. Story 15. Refried beans. I love Mexican food, but I can't stand beans. It drives me crazy because I wish I could enjoy something like a bean and cheese burrito as an affordable meal alternative. However, I gag at the thought of eating beans. Story 16. Most seafood does not appeal to me. It is not due to a lack of exposure to good seafood options. I grew up on Cape Cod and worked in restaurants throughout my teenage and college years. Other than fresh tuna and certain sushi items, I do not understand why people enjoy it. Story 17. I experienced the worst food poisoning of my life after eating fish, even though I had consumed it many times in the past. I went 14 years without eating it. When I tried it again, I hated the smell and taste. A few months ago, I saw a video of a British food worker at a fish and chips shop dousing fish in salt and vinegar. That piqued my interest, so I visited a popular fish restaurant in Oregon and ordered cod. I covered it in salt and vinegar. I managed to eat nearly half of it before throwing it away, as I couldn't stand the thought of wasting food that I had paid for. I wonder if my dislike for fish stems from the previous food poisoning or from the long period without it in my diet. Story 18, tiramisu for me. The smell is amazing, but I find the taste disappointing. People present it as an amazing luxury dessert, but I feel let down when it's the only option. Story 19, muffins of any kind do not appeal to me. I don't want to try them, regardless of how nice others claim they are. They all taste like cardboard to me. They lack flavor completely. Story 20. In my part of the world, lettuce and salad leaves are everywhere, and they add no value to the dish. Story 21. Onions truly make you cry. Why would you put them in your mouth? I'm surprised to see avocados and pickles ranked above onions. Story 22. I dislike whipped cream. I find its texture unappealing and its flavor bland. I do not want it anywhere near my ice cream, and I will refuse any cake or pastry that has it on top. Story 23. Yogurt is too loose and separates easily. Additionally, the live bacterial culture can be unappealing. Story 24. Anything that combines savory and sweet flavors, such as honey-glazed ham, is not appealing to me. The combination of goat cheese, figs, and prosciutto is also unappealing. Story 25. Sushi or any seafood is off the table for me, and it's for a peculiar reason. When I was a child, my parents made me eat those unappetizing frozen fish sticks. We weren't wealthy, so wasting food wasn't an option. Whenever they bought those fish sticks, I would do everything I could to avoid eating them, but I was forced to sit there until I did. I would leave them on my plate for as long as possible, gathering the courage to eat them, but by the time I did, they were cold. We didn't own a microwave, and I would drown them in tartar sauce or ketchup to mask the taste while trying to take small bites. Even then, I would gag, which made me cry and upset my parents. This experience has traumatized me to the point where even the smell of fish or seafood triggers involuntary gagging. In fact, I'm almost gagging just writing this. I understand that most seafood does not taste like those awful frozen fish sticks. I know that some sushi doesn't even contain fish at all, but in my mind, or somewhere in my subconscious, I associate all seafood with those frozen products and can't force myself to eat it. I would mention this to my therapist, but I have more pressing issues to address, and I can eat essentially any other food, which I often do in excess, so discussing this feels like a lower priority at the moment. Story 26. Ketchup or tomato sauce is a runny, sugary liquid with a hint of tomato that adds little value to a meal. Story 27. Fruit and chocolate together. I enjoy my fruit and I enjoy my chocolate, but they are not meant to be enjoyed together. No way. Story 28. Jalapenos, cilantro, tomatoes, beans. I grew up in an area renowned for its Mexican cuisine. I believed I disliked Mexican food for most of my childhood. To complicate things further, I also disliked avocado until I was about 16. Story 29. Everyone I know seems to love all types of seafood. I really don't like it at all. I don't understand the love affair. Story 30. I don't like red sauce, so I have never liked most classic pizzas. I prefer other sauce options like Alfredo, barbecue, or buffalo. Story 31. Icing, frosting, and cream filling. Everyone wants double-stuffed Oreos, cupcakes with a huge dome of frosting, and thick iced Pop-Tarts. The dessert is sweet enough. Just enjoy the pastry. Story 32. Gnocchi is absolutely disgusting. The texture and the taste are unappealing. I have tried cooking it in many different ways and have had it at Italian restaurants. I dislike it intensely. Story 33. Scrambled eggs are fine if they are sunny side up, but I can't stand scrambled eggs. They just don't appeal to me. Story 34. The user has 3 accounts and creates similar threads under each one, seeking attention inappropriately. Story 35. I don't like the Oreo filling in the cookie. I like the cookie, but I hate eating the filling separately, as well as frosting and marzipan. I really dislike marzipan. I have had so many arguments about it. Story 36. Cucumber is the bane of my existence. I can smell the awful odor it radiates from a mile away. I dislike the taste and texture, and it is considered such a basic ingredient that it gets included in nearly every salad without being mentioned on the menu. Story 37. Potatoes are bland and uninteresting. There are countless ways to prepare them, but they all fall short, reaching only tolerable levels for me. I deliberately avoid fries, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, potato chips, and anything else made with potatoes. Even turnips are more interesting and flavorful. Honestly, don't overlook turnips. They are quite good. Sweet potatoes are acceptable, though. Story 38. I don't care much for pizza. It's okay. But there are many other foods that I would prefer before considering pizza. I think it's overrated. Story 39. I don't know if everyone loves it, but in my country, Chile, it is quite popular. It is pate. I hated it when I was a kid, and I still do to this day. Story 40. Soup dumplings are currently popular, and it's driving me nuts. I am not a fan of dumplings in general, but soup dumplings are low-quality dumplings, and, on top of that, they are difficult to eat. Story 41. Coffee. I have tried it for no other reason than its reasonably cheap and available access to caffeine. However, it always tastes unpleasant. Story 42. Pumpkin anything. I'm not a picky eater either. I love cilantro, but I know some people have a genetic predisposition that makes it taste like soap. Is there a predisposition for pumpkin aversion? Maybe it's just the spice mix used, but I can't stand the taste of pumpkin pie, lattes, or anything pumpkin related. I can tolerate pumpkin candles for short periods of time. Story 43. Churros and biscotti are both dry and unpleasant tasting. I particularly dislike the sugar on the churro. Story 44. Not food precisely, but instant coffee. It doesn't smell like coffee and doesn't taste like coffee. It is useful for desserts, but only the Lord knows why people substitute real coffee with this. Story 45. Tomatoes. I have an intolerance to nightshades, and they upset my gastrointestinal system. My taste buds have adjusted accordingly. Story 46. I have a lot of foods I dislike. Avocado, for one. I hate the texture. Tomatoes, too. To me, they taste both too sweet and too chewy at the same time. I absolutely detest anything related to mint. It feels like eating hot snow. Salami is also disgusting and slimy. I cannot stand any kind of meat with bones, especially baby back ribs. I find the little chewy pieces of bone unbearable. If I had to eat 100 of those to win $1 million, I'm not sure I could do it. Biting into the bone is just horrible. I also dislike sparkling water and some types of soda. That's enough. If I say more, you might chase me with torches and pitchforks. I am not a typical member of society. Story 47. Avocados. I cannot stomach them. I don't like the taste or texture very much either. Story 48. Every fall, it feels as if the world is playing a joke on me with pumpkin-flavored products. Story 49. Steak has never appealed to me, so I don't understand why people are so excited to eat a piece of meat without anything else. Story 50. We always had tomato pasta on school trips when I was little, as it was generally a crowd pleaser. Everyone loved it, but I just couldn't bring myself to eat it. I'm 33 now, and I still won't eat anything with tomatoes in it or anything that has touched tomatoes. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.